Have you ever wondered what my day at Laravel is like? No? That's okay, I'll show it to you anyway. It's now around 9 a.m. and that's when I usually start working here. I already brought my kid to school, I made a little run, and now I'm ready to work. A typical day here at Laravel starts with the morning post on the Slack channel. Don't forget it. My main task for today is a new What's New video for the new version 11.37 of the framework, which was released last week. So here is how I prepare this. In order to get an overview of what happened in the latest Laravel release, I'm mostly going to start here with the GitHub compare changes, where I just check out the latest release, which is 11.37 here. And I want to see all the PRs from 11.36.1. So here I see all the PRs that got merged for this 37 release. So this is where I usually start to take a look at all the PRs and to see what's going on. But a better way that I found for myself is by creating this little application here where I can do basically the same. I want to check out all the PRs between 11.36.1 and 37. And here I have pretty much the same. It just looks a little bit different and I can select some of them. You can see you can select them, and then on the right here, I get a list of all the PRs that I want to include into the next video. And then what I can also do here is create it directly or send it directly to our Notion page, which I think is pretty helpful. So yeah, how do I select which of those PRs I put inside the video? So as you can see, there is a lot going on, and of course I can't cover all of them, and it wouldn't be very necessary because yeah, there's a lot going on. There are a lot of fixes about updates of the changelog, and yeah, fixes and stuff like that that I mostly don't want to include because I don't think that they are that interesting. So how do I decide? I just look through them and see what's interesting. Sometimes I have to check out the PR. Sometimes I already see by the name. So here's some updates, something fixed. So yeah, this I've seen already on Twitter as well. My buddy Adrian added a dumpable trait to the new UI helper, which I think is very nice. So select this so that I can cover this in the video. Oh, and also here I can give this a custom name so that I don't get this whole name from GitHub, which is quite long. So let's call this dumpable UI. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Okay, let's move on. Fix add ignore case. In this case, I want to check out what this is. I think it's pretty obvious already. So for the string helper, there is now a new argument to ignore the case. But in order to be sure, I'm just checking out the PR. So let's just check. This PR adds an ignore case boolean. Yeah, so basically what I thought. So you now have this new boolean here to make sure if you want to ignore the case or not. By the way, Steve is lately doing a lot of PRs for Laravel. Great guy. Okay, so I'm going to select this as well. Okay, what else? We have here also some updates on the URI helper without query. Mostly I want to show more new stuff and not updates. Sometimes I also show updates, but it depends on what they are. Okay. I'm just going through all of them and seeing if there's something that would be interesting to myself. And oh yeah, what about this one? Edit new eloquent methods where it doesn't have relationship. All right, let's take a look at this as well. So in Laravel, we have a method called where relation. And I think this is just the opposite, where it doesn't have, yeah, so that's the relation. So we have a where relation method, which is a kind of shortcut for very similar to this, but I now believe that we have now where it doesn't have relation. Yeah, I think that's something interesting. I think there's also something where I could show a nice little example. We'll take a look at that maybe later to see how I want to present this new feature in the video. So this will also be a part of this video later. So yeah, let's select this one as well. All right, anything else? So I think a good amount for every video would be about 2, 3 to maximum of 5 new features that I want to show. I don't want to show too much. I want to keep those videos still as short as possible. But yeah, let's take a look if there's something else. And often, don't get me wrong, there are very interesting and cool PRs in there, but I just can't show all of them. Yeah, I think I'm just going with those 3. And let's create now a new video called What's New in Laravel 11.37. All right, let's put this into my Notion page. All right, and here we have it now. This is our video team schedule. I've just searched for what's new so that you don't see all the other videos that we're currently working on. And I also hidden all of our video ideas, sorry, but I just wanted to show you this one. So let's open this up here. Let's make this bigger so you can see this already has a name. The series is correct. So there are a bunch of things that I'm already doing. And this is now the database which was imported with all the information that I sent, and we just need to turn this to inline to see what's going on here. Now we have here the name, the custom one which I selected. I have the GitHub profile of the author, the name, the Twitter name, pull request I like to have here at the start, and the link and the URL of the pull request. So these are the details that I need for creating the video, for creating the description of the video. And I often need, while I prepare the examples, to check again what the PRs are. So that's why I need all this information here at one place. And later we're also going to use this information here to create our video description with a little command that I created. So we will take a look later at this as well. But yeah, basically for all the videos that we have on the Laravel channel, we have a dedicated page with some information like this here. Okay, next up here is to decide, we need a thumbnail for this. So we have a designer which is going to help me, but I have to decide what will be on the thumbnail. And for the What's New videos, let's take a look what they currently look like. All right, here we are on the Laravel channel. Let's take a look at the playlist for all the What's New videos. Here we have it. All right, so here you can see the thumbnail of the series. So mostly I'll take one of the features that I want to show, like this disable relationships method, and then put this on top of it. So sometimes we also show just text, sometimes a little bit of code if possible. Sometimes we do some funny stuff as well. So yeah, like this chaperone one, which I also love. So yeah, that's what we do. All right, so let's take a look at the Notion. I think for this, we are going to use this where it doesn't have relationships. So I feel like this is the one that pops out for me in terms of what it sounds like. So this is a little update, this is a little update, but this is kind of a new method. So I think this is the one which I want to have on the thumbnail. While I now have to wait for the thumbnail to be produced, I can start thinking about how to present those features. We already know what features will be in the video, so it's time to make sure how we show the examples in this video. Now that we have the topics that I want to show in my next What's New video, we have to talk about how do I include those examples into the video. And I have a couple of ways that I do this, sometimes in PHP Storm where this makes sense, sometimes inside test in PHP Storm because it's pretty cool and because tests you can run easily. So I don't have to hit the route and then check the browser and come back or things like that. So that's nice. And sometimes I just also only use Tinkerwell, which is really nice. And I think today we have some topics which are great for Tinkerwell. So we were talking about including this new string helper here, which is this one with this is method where we can check 2 strings. So is Laravel the same as Laravel? And this should return false, and it does. And now I think the next argument should be the one about ignoring the case. We want to ignore this, so true. Yeah, so if we say true, we will get true back. And if we change this to Laravel, then this would also work here. So I guess I'm going to show something like this in the video because, yeah, it's a good way here in Tinkerwell to show this very easy new feature. Sometimes I also just add an overlay to a video, which also works depending if the feature is just a very small one, which this is. So yeah, I might have to decide for this. Okay, let's also talk about this other feature where it doesn't have relation. So for these kind of examples, I want to show the user and the viewers watching, where does this come from? What did you do before? What can you do next? So the kind of the story for this new feature. So in Laravel, if you want to get a specific model based on a relationship and the details of the relationship, you can do this. So a way to do this is, let's also import this model here, by using where has, and then we have a relationship. So all my models have podcast. And then here we have a closure as the second argument here. Here we get the query for our podcast. And here I can say, give me all the users with podcast where likes, which is a field of my podcast, is greater than, I don't know, 100. Let's try this out. We need to close this here. All right, and we need to run the query in order to get some results. Let's see, this takes a little bit because I have a lot of users on podcast, and 2 users have podcasts with more than 100 likes. Can also check for 1,000 now. Still running. Yeah, it's also 2, and let's say more than 5,000. Just to show that this changes at one point. I think I only got one with more than 5,000 likes. Yeah. So one user has a podcast which has over 5,000 likes. All right, this works, but there's a nicer way to do this with the where relation method. All right, so now we can skip the closure and we have the arguments here directly at the top. And I think this should do it. Let's run this. Yeah, this also works. Okay, so where relation for the podcast where likes greater than 5,000. So this is the where relation method, which makes it a little bit easier to run those calls. And now what we have is just the opposite of this. And where doesn't have relation, I think is the new method. Let's run this again. And yeah, you can see I get here a lot of users that don't have a podcast with likes over 5,000. Yeah, a lot of users here. I think I got 1,000 users here. Okay, so this is this new method, and I think this is probably how I'm going to show this in the video to give a little bit of more context. What did we do before? What did we have before? And what is now changing with the new PR? What changes for you directly so that you can use this new feature? And then we also have this feature for the dumpable URI helper. And I think for this, I'm just showing something directly in the video while I'm talking so that I don't think we need to show this here directly in Tinkerwell or in the editor. Now I'm ready to record everything, the examples that I just prepared, but also myself, all the scenes. And I have here a mini setup here in my office, which makes recording very easy. I just need to start this camera, start those lights, and I'm good to go. Now that I have all the recordings of me and the example, it's time to edit it. The final edit I do in DaVinci Resolve. I have a nice template here for the What's New videos, so this helps me a lot. I just need to add the intro, make some cuts here and there, need to make sure I show the overlays for thanking the contributors, and I also want to make sure that the music is at the right place, and then we're good to export this video. After that, I check this video one last time from beginning to the end to make sure everything is how it should be. It happens that I forgot maybe an overlay or maybe there's a blank screen somewhere because of a wrong cut. So yeah, you don't want that on YouTube. One final check is very important. All right, let's upload this video now to YouTube. So this means we are ready to publish the new video. Let's upload this one. This was video 105. All right, this is already loading. We need a good title and description, and for this I have a little helper that I use. So in my application, which I've shown you before, where I can check and select my list for PRs and import them to Notion, I have also a little script that helps me to generate a description and titles. So let's try this out. PHP Artisan generate what's new video description. I think that's the name of the command. Let's take a look. Yes. So here I can select the one that I need, and 105 is this one here. Yes. All right. Now I need the name and the features. So I need to provide the AI some information about the features in order to get a good description. For this, I go to my Notion page with the information about this video, which I've imported here, and I'm just going to select everything in here, and I'm just going to copy this and paste this in here. I found that this is the easiest solution for me to make this work, and the AI is smart enough to know what I've provided here. All right, I'm submitting. I'm now creating the audio from the video, and then we are transcribing the audio, which happens currently. And then after that, this AI, which is Claude, will try to give me a good description, and also, which is very important, with a timeline for the video. Okay, it's already done. Let's take a look what we get. First, we have here the video description. Yeah, here. Okay, let's paste this in here. Let's take a look. Okay, here I need to add the release, which I haven't provided. I need to still add this to my information, release 11.37. Then we have the features with the pull request links, which is great. And then we have the timeline. This is something that's still not working as good as it should be. So I often find some mistakes here. So I need to recheck this. Okay, next here for my tweet, I also have a little helper that helps me just so that I can copy this, which also takes the Twitter handles of the people that provided the PR, if they have one, and if they have listed it in GitHub, then I can use this. And yeah, that's basically all what this tool does for me. But yeah, as you can imagine, I'm doing this like every week. This is very helpful. I just got the thumbnail in my mail, and yeah, for today's video, and it's yeah, it is something. Let me show you. Of course, we don't want to keep this boring one here. We want a custom thumbnail. Everything else here is already prepared. The title, the description. I also fixed a bug here, but now back to the thumbnail. Let me show you what our designer came up with. It's just so stupid that it's so good. What do you think? Word doesn't have relation. Does this remind you of something familiar, maybe? Oh my god, I just really love it. We also did a little bit of update here on the What's New thumbnails. So the What's New thumbnails have this What's New text also in the thumbnail. We changed this a little bit. I think this looks now a little bit more cleaner and something new that I wanted for this new year. Yeah, so we also try to improve. We try to have guidelines so that everything looks it comes from the same person, the same designer, from the same brand, from the brand Laravel. But yeah, in this guideline, we have some differences that you will see depending on what video we're doing, on what series this video belongs to, and so on. So yeah, but this What's New series is one of my most prominent series that I have. So yeah, I try to improve this as well. So yeah, this is what we got. It's just, I just can't stop laughing. It's so good. All right, so let's pick this one. Sometimes you can also select multiple ones, and then YouTube will do A/B testing for you. So you publish the video, YouTube try both or all the versions that you submitted, and then it checks after a couple of hours which one works better. It can detect this, and then it picks one of them to stay. But for this one, we just have one. Let's also pick here the series. So these are the series that we have. What's new in Laravel? All right, so I also updated the title. We have a link now. All looks good. So yeah, I think we are ready to publish it. All right, let's do this. Dun, 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 dun. And here it is, our brand new video just published. So yeah, it just looks, I just love it. So I hope you like it too. The video's out. We made it. Another video on Laravel's YouTube channel. So next I need to prepare some posts for Slack, Twitter, Blue Sky, Reddit, LinkedIn, yeah, you name it. So this is also part of my work and I have to do. But since we have a little bit of time for the rest of the day, I'm going to show you something about an upcoming video, which is still a secret, but I want to show you just a little bit of it. So I have here my little secret project, which is already huge. And this is just the start of the video. There's a lot going on, a lot of animation and a lot of stuff that I have to edit here. So I want to show you, not the project yet, I'm sorry, but here I have this background with the stars, which is a fusion composition. So I created this myself, which is pretty cool when you take a look at this. all the stars popping up. I think this looks really nice. And now on top of this, I need to transition some code to demonstrate a specific example. And I could do this here in this editor as well. There are a couple of ways you can do this, but transitioning code is quite difficult in an editor because you have a lack of code highlighting in this editor. So if I put text in here, I have to color it myself, highlight it myself, which is not so fun. I could take screenshots, but then I have the background in it. So yeah, making animations with code is quite hard in an editor like this. So I found a better way to do this. I'm here inside, you maybe can tell already, this is a React project. That's an app called Remotion. Remotion is an app where you can create videos through code, which sounds a bit strange, but is a really cool concept and it can do a lot. The way that I'm using it currently is with a plugin called CodeHike. So let me show you what this does. It looks a little bit complicated like all React apps do in my opinion. Sorry. But basically I have here a series of sequences and then I have a code transition inside them. So let me show you what I want to do here. Here in my public folder I have a couple of code examples. First one is empty. Second one here I have some PHP code and here as well. And what this project does, it takes all those examples and run them one after each other. And in between, we have some nice transition from one state like this one to this state or from this state to this one. Let me show you what this means. So this is the browser UI of Remotion. You have this kind of editor with a timeline here, and I can run this. And all those steps here are the code examples that I've shown you before. And in between, we have this nice transition, which is a token transition. Fancy name, pretty cool. What this allows me to do is to create an animation for code and then import it into my video project, into my video editor, DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so what I want to show here is an example where I was trying to use this resolved hook on the service container in Laravel, and I thought that I could just do something with the instance which was resolved and then return a modified instance to the user who was asking for this instance. But it turns out this is something that you cannot do because at this point the user already got the dependency back and you can't return anything here in this hook. So that's why I want to show that after using resolved, I went on to use the before resolving hook, which was the right one. So we have one transition here from this to this. That's the first one. And now I want to move on here to show some couple of steps here, what I did in my example. So this is the first state. Let's move on to, which was it? Yeah, code 4 is now the next one here. So this will be, we will transition from this here now to code 4 example. So here I want to check the original dependency. That's the first thing that I want to do. Let's copy this and let's move on to code 5 example here, because now I want another transition here. After that, what we want to do is we want to modify if it is the right one. All right, let's copy this code. And the last code example here, let's reformat this, is here. If everything is as we want it to be, then we're going to bind something to the container, a new instance, to the abstract, and this will be modified instance like this. Yeah. All right, let's take a look what this looks like now. So we're starting with nothing. We're moving on to our resolved example. This didn't work. Then we moved on to use before resolving. Here we were checking the original dependency. Then modify if it is the right one, yeah, and then we're binding a new instance. Yeah, so that's exactly what I need. And now what I can do is I can render this. npx remotion render, then we're defining the output and we're also using scale 2, which gives us a 4K resolution for this video, which is really cool when you think about it. So this will take now, I think, 1 or 2 minutes to render. And then we will have our video, which we can import to our DaVinci Resolve project. And back now in DaVinci Resolve, I have now this new animation. Let's bring this in here. Let's take a look what this looks like here inside the editor. Okay, let's move this on here a little bit. Right before the animation starts, let's take a look. Okay, this comes in nicely, and it's now transitioning to before resolving. And in the video, we'll talk over this and we'll explain what we're doing here for this example. I think maybe the comments here are not so readable. Maybe I have to check this. And maybe here at the end, I'm going to freeze the frame and show this a little bit long and talk about it. And of course, I would put this somewhere here in the middle where it's better to read, where it's centered. I maybe would put in another animation to show this. But yeah, this is what I wanted to show you for this video I'm working on, and on those new code transitioning examples that I want to show in this video, and how I've been doing this currently with Remotion in React. That's it for my workday here at Laravel. Of course, every day is a little bit different depending on the videos that I'm currently working on. But yeah, that's my job, that's what I do, that's what I love. If you got any questions about my work or about this video, please comment. And if you liked the video, please also like the video. Thank you very much. Bye.